Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Let me just go ahead and do it. Metokur says, Ralph, I demand on to discuss this damning audio of myself. I know it's horrible. It's really bad. It's really terrible for you, Jim.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch to Hangouts. I need to get.
It's a really bad video for Metokur.
Mr. Metokur, how you doing, sir?
I feel betrayed, Ralph. How could you play this? How could you violate my trust and play the secretly recorded audio?
No, it's not like I sent it to you first. Anyway, go ahead. What are your thoughts on it so far?
Well, no, like I told you, damn, there's nothing I say in fucking private that I wouldn't say in public. That's why I'm not really.
That's a pretty good policy. That's a pretty good policy, isn't it?
Well, then you're never surprised. But yeah, because I had no idea he was recording me, so I listened to it. This was for people trying to like place the time period of it. This is if you remember Pascal and I think Robin Gething from fucking the guy that got his fiance left him because Nigel Farage got her pussy wet. Yeah. So this is right around the time they were using like IMDb pages to fuck with people. So that's what I was talking about with the Destiny brought it up on stream and stuff like that. It's like a half an hour talking about that, and I give him basic bitch internet security pep talk kind of stuff, and then it's like an hour and a half of wrestle talk. But the Warski bit's the interesting one because like with everything that's fucking happened now, looking back on it, I'm almost certain, like especially looking at like statements JF and other people have made and Zoom has made about Tonka being a snake. Like I can't think of a reason as to why he would record it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Well,
I talked about this. I don't know if it was last night. Failure mentioned it. I think it was on Warski's program earlier. That Tonka actually, and I don't know if Failure was on that call or not. But I think you were actually on the call, but I don't remember. But we had a call. I guess it was that afternoon after the kumite, or I came on towards the end of the kumite or something, and it continued off air. And he said, Ralph, you're going to have a big kill stream tonight. I said, oh, yeah. What do you mean? Like, what's going on? And he said, Andy's, he's finally going to get rid of JF. I was like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, that would be a pretty big show. I'm sure we'll be talking about it. He said, yeah, just, keep your eyes peeled tonight, and that's going to go down.
See, and I remember when the Andy and JF split happened, because I know that they were having a back and forth, and like, Andy talked about it on the kumite for like one day. And I told him, well, do whatever your gut tells you, I guess. But, think about what you're going to... This is on the show, right? This isn't like in private. This is on one of these fun episodes. But, yeah, apparently Tonka's talking to people behind the scenes. It sounds like he's a busy little boy. But it's I don't know if Zidane has it time-coded, but it's the Warski bit, I think, really lets you know how slimy this fear is. Because, yeah, I listened to this thinking, okay, well, I don't remember what I fucking talked about. You know what I mean? This is like post-stream. So I was like, hey, I have no idea. I wonder what the fuck talked about. Hour and a half of fucking wrestling. Great damning audio there, Tonka.
It's 2 hours.
You stupid fucking engine. What are you thinking? Like this is what you secretly record. An hour and a half talking about Southern wrestling, you stupid. There's the only interesting bits on. This is also what I find funny is you tease this for a week and they're going to be pissed.
There's a couple funny things we already played. First off, I didn't know you were such a huge Attitude Era fan. What was your favorite superstar back then?
No, I told people I watch OSW, Old School Wrestling, like the guys that do those podcasts. That shit's amazing. Like they make a ton of money on Patreon too, by the way, which I'm happy because I love their stuff. But
I should have known when you mentioned the Shockmaster after the Monday Matt stream that your knowledge ran pretty deep.
I like the goofy shit. I mean, that's just what I said.
Hey Jim, are you a fan of my old wrestling channel, Grapple Vision?
I never watched wrestling. I never watched your channel. I never watched YouTubers aside from OSW. I gotta say, and Failey, I suppose this is a jab at you, but holy shit, was this a boring car? Like he said it to me, and so I listened to it. And I was like, fuck me, because if this is what the kumite was like in its heyday, it's just painful to listen to.
Dude, I understand. I listen to myself now, and I'm like, Jesus, can you hurry the fuck up? Like, no, stop.
There are a lot of parts where it's just boring. A lot of talking about wrestling, and then
lots of wrestling,
and then talking about Opie and Anthony.
Well, yeah, I love Jocktober. Like I have like a fucking addiction to that shit. So I mean, I've driven. Like Jade can't fucking stand it at this point because I used to like listen to playlists of that shit for 8 hours straight. Like I love listening to old Jocktober episodes.
All right, I'm back. Yeah. What's the next timestamp, Zidane? By the way, I sent you the link in case you don't have it, Jim.
I don't even need it. I got it memorized.
So we can skip towards the end. There's a part where you show Magog a little bit, which I found funny.
Is that the fucking? Yeah, he's got. That's the one that like the
wears makeup.
Yeah. Wasn't he kind of like the Amazing Atheist was doing for a while, where he's like all fucking decked out like a Halloween character and shit?
Yeah,
Magog's the one in the robe and shit, right?
Yeah, he is. He looks like a wizard or whatever.
Every time I hear his name, I'm like, isn't that what they call those animalistic creatures in that Andromeda show that Kevin Sorbo was on for like a couple of years?
Kevin Sorbo, I thought didn't he do Hercules?
Yes, that's
yeah. And then they also had this show Andromeda that was a discount Star Trek, and that's where Magog's came from.
Oh no, I have no idea. I all I know is like Sorbo did Hercules, and then he became religious, and they threw him out of Hollywood.
The Magog stuff is at 139.
Okay.
If you want to skip to that,
just
and then
139 on the dot, or
139.49.
Oh, wait! Before you play it, that the audience didn't mishear that. Zidane just went from a timestamp of like 30 minutes to an hour and 39 minutes because this whole conversation that he cock teased you for a week about is about fucking wrestle.
Yeah,
no, well, you know what? I could play the whole thing through, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would like to hear the whole thing.
Actually, God, no.
Well, okay, so there's a part before that where Donga says that he knows people in wrestling and show you checks. If you want to listen to that, it's about an hour, 4 minutes and 35 seconds in.
I would like to hear that. Yeah.
Okay.
Hour 4:35. By the way, kudos to Zidane
for listening to this painful shit.
Hour 4:35. I'm dead serious. They would sit here and listen to the whole thing. I mean, there's
fucking hell, Ralph. You sent this to me, and you're like, "Is it okay if I play?" I was like, "I don't know. I don't care." I listened to it, and then I messaged you back, and I was like, "That is so boring." And you're like, "Yeah, I started watching a little bit of it." You pawned it off out of these poor motherfuckers.
Yeah, I did it. I watched the entire thing.
You really got to give it to Metokur Fembot for fucking spending countless hours every week screenshotting and recording everything Tonka says. I was like, do you have this? Do you have the thing with Tonka promising the stream for failure? And they were like, yeah. 20 minutes later, they had the whole fucking stream, and they sent it to me.
I forgot too that he did. That's Joya, right? The one he's talking about that fucked his wrestling partner.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? When I contacted her before the IBS apocalypse, she was like, if he ever says a single horrible thing about me, I'll make a whole video and I'll get every single ex he's ever had that he's put his hands on, and I'll get them to throw him under the bus. He's so fucking stupid. An hour before he brought her on, he sat and talked about her, and Metokur Fembot screen capped the whole goddamn thing and sent it to me, and I have a whole little 20-second clip of him talking to her.
All right, 104.35. I'm going to play it right now.
Yeah, right? Fucking shit.
Guys are getting $500 a shot right now in WWE, Jim. I can show you checks. I know guys in WWE checks. Now. I'm friendly with them. I've sat around, there's a video right now up of one of the tag team champions has a Let's Play channel. I know for a fact that they're getting fucked up beforehand because they're sitting in the fucking drug dealer's house. The guy everybody bought weed from. They're sitting right in his fucking house, and he even makes an appearance stoned out of his fucking gourd. It's fucking great.
God. There's a great video up. I wish I could remember the title of it. It's somebody's going to WWE and they get a meeting with.
Well, we can stop there, I think. But he knows people in WWE, guys. I mean,
is that the one where he talks about? I don't have the clip open. I'm just trying to go off memory here. After being forced to sit, it's like studying for a fucking algebra test or something.
Can I just say that Jim listened to the whole thing, and I didn't even listen to the whole thing, so that is some dedication.
You said it to me, and you were like excited. You're like, somebody sent me secret audio, Jim. Is it okay if I play it? I think they said it's really spicy, and then I listened to it. It's fucking hour and a half of wrestling.
No, there is some good stuff. There is a few good nuggets.
Oh no, there are a few good nuggets, but Jesus, Tonka, next time, plan your op out a little bit. Have a conversation ready to go on. Where
now, why do you think? Yeah, I was going to ask you, why do you think he did this? I mean, other than the obvious, trying to get some dirt on you or have something to hold over your head.
I don't fucking know. And the thing is, when I talk to people, when I talk to them on Skype or if I talk to them on a fucking hangout. You're going to hear the same shit I'm going to say on live stream or just outright. It doesn't really fucking change very much. I talked to, I'll give you a case in point, Sons of Kojima.
Yeah.
Fred Fucks before his little meltdown, Mr. Waterwells in Africa for DSP. And I told him, I gave him advice. I said, hey, listen, man, you need to diversify. You're focusing way too much on DSP, and that's going to just kind of fucking blow up in your face. Didn't take the advice. You know, I don't know what to tell you. And then Tonka, you know,
there seems to be a lot of evidence of people who don't take your advice ending up wishing they did.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I
even
guess
earlier
maybe,
in this conversation that we played, you're like, yeah, you know, people are going to be fucking with you. They're going to throw everything at you, and the more you react to it, it's just going to keep getting worse.
well, yeah, and that's a weird thing too. It feels like, you know, when you say shit like that, it's obvious, right? But
Pretty
he's
basic,
acting
yeah.
like, but he's acting like.
But I mean, look, Donga's not internet people, so,
right?
you know,
Exactly. I've never
yeah.
heard this before. Yeah.
I think I understand why he did it, Jim, and why he turned on you and he recorded all this. You see, back in WrestleMania 25,
Oh shit.
you know, Matt was very jealous of Jeff Hardy's popularity. So, you know, failure knows about it.
Oh,
You know,
oh,
they were in the Royal Rumble, and he wanted a chance to one up Edge. And you know, Matt had this chance; he was going to be able to do it, and he was so jealous of Jeff.
This is a good impersonation. I really want to cut my throat.
So,
you know,
you know, he hit him with the steel chair, and he turned on his own brother. And it's kind of like how you turned on him. You know, tell him, Philly. Tell him about how Jim Taylor turned on me. You know.
well, yeah, Jim just, you know, what you said.
I actually did talk to him about this. I'm like, why are you going at Jim? It doesn't make any sense. And he just spurred out and said, oh, you know, I guess it all goes back to the IBS Apocalypse stream. And he said, well, there was.
You know what? It goes back to me not going on his fucking show.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true,
let's just
too.
call a spade a spade. He's pissed off. He's not making money.
That was the excuse.
Here's the retarded thing. Hold on. Here's the retarded thing is he didn't want you on the show because people would come and be like, Jim in the fucking chat anytime you fucking popped up. And I would be like, Jim? And he's like, God, no. And the same thing with Andy. Like, he was sick of people wanting Andy.
It's weird because there was a lot of segues in your show, Failure, where he would be like, oh, you know, we got this guy on, like, with the MOC thing and a couple other times you had people on, and he'd be like, yeah, you know, this is really interesting and all, but, you know, it's just dumb. I'm not internet people. Why don't we get Jim in here and get his hot take?
Now, wait, and I also want to point this out. There was, I forget which live stream it was, but you kind of criticized the Kumite, and you said, you know, Donga, you didn't call him Donga then, you called him Tonka. Tonka, you know, cut out the fight me and IRL stuff.
And
you
I
know,
told
constantly.
yeah,
and he told Failure to stop playing, you know, Viva La Raza every fucking
I told
3
him
seconds.
to lay off the sound clips, hint, Gator. So, you know, I told him maybe it'll be a little more, you know, a little more conservative with the sound clips. But no, I think with Tonka, the fucking issue was I kind of was like, okay, well, you know, this has kind of reached its arc. It's not really as entertaining as it was. And so if you go back, I didn't talk shit about any of these fucking people.
No, you didn't talk
like,
shit.
I moved on to fucking making fun of Sargon and doing other shit.
But you didn't go on his show for a while. And I remember there was a show where Amish was on, and you went back on the Kumite. I think it was on Andy's channel at that point. And you went on there, and then Tonka got on Twitter and made a big deal about, oh, they said Jim would never come back, and oh, here he is, and he was like spiking the football basically. And you kind of went on there even though you didn't really want to. You know what I mean? Like, actually watched.
He changed the title of the fucking stream, and then he went and he updated the IMDb to include that Jim was there.
Yeah, exactly.
So fucking sad.
It was just, I don't know, it was just kind of weird. And if you watch that appearance, Jim just goes on there and says, "Oh, this guy's a fucking."
He was there for 6 minutes.
Yeah, there was nothing much there. I don't know.
Okay, I think this is my hot fucking take on this, right? If you run a fucking show and it has nothing to it, like if the host can't, you know, if you can't make it fucking entertaining for your audience, and the only reason they're entertained is the fucking guests that you're bringing on, nothing's going to highlight that more than people not coming on your show anymore.
Jim, there was no fucking show prep. Me and Andy were showing up an hour before the show to try to like prepare shit, and fucking Tonka would show up like about fucking 2 minutes before the show would start and not fucking stay afterwards. He didn't want to fucking prepare for anything.
What I'm saying is,
you're right.
When you stop having people come on and it's just the host flying solo, and it's
that too.
Shit, and it highlights that the host is boring.
Also, when you don't show up, people are like, oh, where's Jim? Where's Jim? I mean, they get used to you being on the show, and you kind of, I mean, if you can't hold it, you know, if you can't put on a program on your own, then people, you know, they'll stop watching. You know what I mean? If you can't do it, you can't do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the comparison I was going to draw. Like, if you compare the Kumite, right, and you compare the Killstream, you guys could go and do an episode without any fucking guests at all, right, just talking about news stories or whatever, and still draw in a consistent audience. If Tonka has to like fly solo and there isn't, we end up with dead air for 20 minutes and 200 people watching.
Well, and part of that is because, I mean, he's retarded, right? I mean, he can't actually talk about anything, you know what I mean? Besides,
nobody wants to listen to Godzilla conversations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What can he really talk about? I mean, I remember, I think Failure was talking about this earlier today. Like, oh, this is the hot news story. This is the hot thing everybody's talking about. And he was like, oh, we can't talk about that. What do you mean?
What?
You know,
what, I'm supposed to talk about what everybody wants to talk about? No, fuck that shit.
Like, how retarded is that? Oh, I don't know. It's just
Jim, when you were really into the IRL fucking shit and making fun of that, like we could barely take a peek at it because no, that's fucking gay. Well, we're gonna do everything. That Jim looks.
Donga has it so much better. Let's talk about Godzilla and wrestling. We don't want to talk about Ice Poseidon having a crack horse steal iPads. No, that's not exciting and interesting to watch take place. No, let's talk about Mothra for fucking 3 hours.
And
Gator, you went silent on me. Did I?
No, Gator, no.
You guys remember that time that giant plant creature turned into Space Godzilla and he had mountains coming out of his shoulder pads? God, that was fucking cool. What do you think about that, Failure?
Gator, Gator, are you there? Hold on. You have to hit us with a Tom Lee soundboard clip now that Jim took a shot at the soundboard. It has to be good though. Uh-oh, he's dead. All right, that's fairly good.
All right, this guy's getting a little nervous there.
Okay. So all right, let's just go back.
You want the next time clip?
It's 1:39:49, right?
Yes, that is.
Okay.
We just jumped 35 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, we could go into the theory of, the Attitude Era and ECW, but let's continue. 1:39:49 right now.
The dude in his fucking makeup and everything.
You should have quit pushing McGuff.
He has
like
makeup?
5 months ago.
Yep. He plays a necromancer reacting to things in the regular realm.
The same shit everybody
Oh,
does.
come on, fuck this. No, turn this off.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah,
Thank you.
by the way, I quit the
At least,
show.
at least it was a little bit more
Quitting.
creative at the time when everybody just had fucking avatars.
Well, at least now I know who the Amazing Atheist stole his bit from. I thought it was Jim Sterling, but it looks like he ripped it.
Yeah, he saw Magog and apparently Jack.
Yeah, he robbed him completely. He stole his whole bit.
So when I found the dude, he only had 80 subscribers and, had like 3 jobs as a janitor. And now he's making like, almost 1,500 on Patreon plus
Roughly.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've heard enough. By the way, Magog is a what was it? We were making fun of him like a month ago. What was it? I can't remember now. Was it? Oh, it was the Sargon stuff where he jumped out there. I think he said he was going to shut down his Patreon and all this shit. And I don't know. And we were talking about this with Dick
I
Masters.
didn't even hear the clip. So what did I say about my guy?
Basically, he just said he turned the shit off. He's basically what I said. He's like.
Okay, well, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
if you're the guy that dresses like a wizard, is like another.
all right, let's see. So are we gonna go to the Andy? Because that's probably the best part.
Yep, 1:53:34.
Yeah, that's definitely the most damning. Now that I look back on it, yeah.
1:53:54. You said.
Yeah, that's where you start talking about DSP, and then a minute later, you bring up Andy. Not even a minute later, a couple seconds later.
Okay, 1:53:54. Let me get there.
34.
34. Oh God.
Sorry.
It was a long. No, never. You're a legend for going through this and time stamping it, which is what I should have done. But it's been a long week, Jim. I mean, come on, cut me a little slack. I was originally going to play this last week, and then Donga fucking backed out of the fight, so that was a whole show. And then something else happened. That was the whole show. Then we had Christy Winters, and I don't know. It's just been crazy. And then, of course, I was in Knoxville getting drunk all week. 1:53:54 or 34, right? That's correct, right?
Yeah, 34.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna hit it right now.
I would enjoy it while you can. Don't pull like a DSP. DSP thought that shit was going to last a decade for him, and it didn't. He should have saved his money. He should have really saved his money when it hit big.
The stuff for I think last month it was like $6,000 ended up coming in off of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's a great amount of cash, and especially at the size of the channel was. I mean, imagine if you continue to grow throughout the year and you're sitting at 80,000 at the end of the year rather than 8. As far as subs go, I mean, it's just going to exponentially grow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Andy's getting to the fucking point where his reading super chats is almost as long as the amount of fucking stream that came before it, which is just insane.
Yeah.
Even though that's fucking great, I saw how much he was making at one point with the fucking ads when the ads were good and
Back when the days were good there.
Yeah, we were talking about fucking 5 figures and that only lasted for like 2 months. So he had a taste of it, and when you have a taste of it, that's the fucking worst because you're like, fuck.
Yeah, he missed his opportunity with the ad thing. A lot of people got fucked on that, but he's got his opportunity with Super Chat if that's what he wants to do.
He's
make good money doing it. Yeah, make really good money on it.
He's
already fixing up. I mean, he's fixing up his studio. He bought a Bing Wahooey fucking Nintendo Switch and shit. So he's happy. He's enjoying himself.
God, those are terrible. But do you like Andy, Jim?
Oh
yeah, I think Andy's a likable guy. I don't really get like an ulterior motive off of him. You know what I mean?
That's how I feel too. But like people keep telling me like that he seems like a snake and like all this. Andy to me is the only person in this entire fucking deal who had anything to lose.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Andy is what Andy is. I really don't get a feeling like he's hiding something. I could be wrong, but I don't.
Yeah, that's what I get.
Andy's been down with me since he had 50,000 subs. It doesn't matter that he has fucking 200 whatever now.
He used to watch the Kumite when there was 30 people.
Yeah, he's I think right now he's probably really happy. He's doing well and he's fucking excited about it and he's really into what he's doing. And that's the feeling I get from him. And I'm glad for him. I'm glad he found something to work for him.
Here's the thing with Andy, like I'll let you know. At one point he was getting tired of fucking fighting with people and he wanted to let's mend some bridges. Let's talk to Franny and talk to this person and everything. And then he got fucking burnt. and now with this thing, he's like, I'm tired of just doing what people expect me to do. Let me actually talk to some fucking. Sure, I'll talk to alt writers and the SJWs. Now this is a fucking problem. So he's just saying fuck everybody, and that's why people are like, oh, why is Andy being such a prick? Because you guys are being pricks.
Mm-hmm.
He's just willing to have a conversation that no one else is willing to have, and people are ready to hear something that they haven't heard a million times.
Well, yeah, and again, it goes back to people getting pissed off because their way of doing it isn't working. And the thing is, anybody could have done what Andy did. I mean, they could have used that same format. They could have taken that same approach, but he's the one that decided to do it. They didn't. That's what pisses him off.
It's a really with mine, I get a lot of shit, but mine is a really easy format. I talk for a minute, I read off a couple things, and then if two people want to fight, I let them.
No,
now let me pause it at 15303 says, I talk for a minute, I read a couple things. If two people want to fight, I let them. That actually is a pretty good format, right, Jim? I mean,
well, again, I'm not listening to the recording, but based off memory, yeah, like looking back on it, because he's like, didn't he say? I think the way he phrased it was, "Do you think Andy's a snake or something?"
Yeah,
like
that's
that?
exactly. Yeah, other people are saying this. What do you think? Yeah,
I thought it was weird because I've said again privately what I've said publicly. I think Andy's a good guy, and I'm happy that he's doing well.
But I will say Andy is one of the most genuine people that I've met throughout all this, and he helped me when he had no reason to. When people told him not to, I mean, he got in a fight with JF over me, which a lot of people said, "What the fuck? Just cut bait with Ralph. What's going on here?" Matter of fact, a lot of people did tell him that. But yeah, go ahead, Jim.
And I think I paused there for a second. Like, if looking back on it, it just kind of struck me as a weird question to ask out of the blue. Like, what do you think about it? Well, what do you mean snake? And again, to put this into context, the time period on this, if this was January or whatever, right when Pascal was doing the IMDb shit, that means that he was gay opping or setting up gay ops a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, I was in jail late January, so this, I wasn't even around for all this, but I just know that Andy is one of the most genuine people I've met, and he's helped me time and time again when there's nothing in it for him. And I still remember when Andy was getting 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 a night, and he plugged our stream to the hilt for nothing in return, just because he liked me and he liked the show, and there was nothing in it for him. He didn't have to do that. And that's why, I'll
because I've never had and I don't really talk to anybody outside of, the streams and stuff because I'm kind of off doing my own thing. But, the few conversations I've had with Andy, like if he sent me a DM or something, he's always been super nice. Like he's never done anything or acted in a way that would make me think he's a snake. And especially at the time, I'd only known him for like a month. But it was just a really fucking weird, especially looking back on it, it's a really fucking weird question. And if Tonka really set this up to be recorded, it makes me think that that's the bit that he wanted recorded.
So he made you suffer through 2 hours of wrestle talk.
Oh yeah, that's the no. I've got to bring down his defenses by having some casual banter back and forth, get him relaxed, get him feeling comfortable, and then I slip it in at an opportune time when his defenses are down, so I can get an answer that I can later use as a clip to play if I ever have a fight with the guy or ever I want to expose him or something like that.
Didn't I try to ask you if you would be my friend, Jim?
I'm nobody's friend, Failure.
Yes,
I know that's what you told me in fucking January of last year.
Yeah. But it's just it just kind of hindsight now with everything that's gone on. It almost makes, because I don't know. I mean, there have been some stories going around about certain individuals blackmailing other individuals, and
there are, yes.
It makes me wonder if he wanted something in reserve. Because this is, I believe this is the only time I've ever talked to him off air. I think at the end of the stream.
I can. I can say for a fact that's how he operates.
No, there was a moment that you talked off air with Andy and him as well.
Okay, well, more gay ops to come, Ralph. Fingers fucking crossed, buddy.